South Africa is turning the corner against the COVID-19 virus. This is demonstrated by the fact that the country now enjoys lowest alert level of the national lockdown. However, while we are not where we were some months back, we are certainly not out of the woods as yet. This is the call by the health experts that must be taken seriously by all of us. We are aware that as the days get warmer and the restrictions are more relaxed, law enforcement will have to work harder to ensure they bring an end to any behavior that threatens the containment of the virus. COVID-19 has been hard on the SAPS, infecting 16,539 officers. The virus has claimed the lives of 215 men and women in blue. However, we remain encouraged by the high recovery rate, over 15,000. Members have won the battle against the virus and are back to serving the communities. As the South African Police Service, we remain resolute in meeting our constitutional mandate, which is to maintain law and order whilst ensuring adherence to the Disaster Management Act. South Africa may be on the lowest alert level of the national lockdown, but law enforcement, on the other hand, will remain on the high alert. Let me take this opportunity to thank the millions of South Africans who have heeded the call to stay safe and continue to wear their face mask, wash their hands and maintain social distance. Police will continue to enforce the curfew, which starts the midnight until 4 a.m. The sale of liquor is permitted from 9 a.m. to 17 hours during the week. No alcohol can be sold for off-site consumption over the weekend or during public holiday. Alcohol can be sold and consumed at licensed premises only, but not before 9 and not after midnight. Equally, alcohol cannot be sold as takeaways. It must be consumed on the premise where it was bought. It's that simple. So you can't just buy and say, have a takeaway, you are going out with it. Or if the time of curfew comes, you pick it and you go away, you leave it there. I want to express my shock and discuss about the blatant disregard of the health of our people by some liquor outlets owners. I'm talking about the business that choose to flout the rules in the name of profit. This past weekend, I joined the operations checking on the compliance in the Ekurhuleni in the Gauteng province. During the multidisciplinary operations between SAPS, SANDF and provincial traffic law enforcement, we came across several shebeens and taverns operating way past the stipulated 10 p.m. curfew under level 2. More disturbing was the practice of some liquor outlets squeezing petrol inside their venues with shut windows and doors. This is done to look as if the business is closed for the night. Meanwhile, drinking and socializing is in the confined space ongoing until the early hours of the morning. Establishments in other parts of the country are undertaking the illegal practice that is putting money before people's health. This is what they do. They shut all the doors, they shut all the windows, and the drinking and consumption of alcohol continues. So we want to make the point very clear. We knock to these areas, but if we are correct and our information is correct, we would not hesitate to get enforced access to those places to make sure that those people are saved. So the better way of not us having enforced access is that people must just obey the law. When you close, let the people go and don't keep the people there as your slaves to continue to do things that they are not supposed to do because you want extra money. I also know that It is not only taverns that are breaking the rules. Some restaurants and eateries are also flouting the rules, putting their customers at risk of infections. I want to remind all the business owners who insist on flouting the rules, the long arm of the law will catch up with you and you will also lose your operating license. Ladies and gentlemen, from the start of the lockdown in March to date, 310,494 people have been arrested and charged with contravention of the Disaster Management Act. These violations range from liquor, transport, and business and cross-border related offences. The Western Cape recorded the most arrests with 72,137 and followed by Gauteng with 59,000 arrests. The public is reminded that while the social gathering, including concerts, live performances, are permitted, nightclubs still have to shut their doors. No more than 100 mourners can attend a funeral. Night vigil are still not permitted. These 100 mourners attending the funeral, it means in the church and in the cemeteries. You don't increase your number because now we are in the cemeteries. This 100 is on both places where you are having the church and when you are going to the cemeteries. On another note, communities are urged to consider it when hosting social gathering in residential areas. There are many complaints received of noise and disruptive behavior at people's homes. This virus is still very much with us, and despite further lifting of restriction, people need to take responsibility for their own lives and that of their loved ones. This complaint of the noise, it happens when people are in their houses. They think they can blast the music. If your music disturbs neighborhood, is not allowed. All the bylaws of metros in the Republic of South Africa, they take noise as an offense. It doesn't matter what kind of noise, including the people that are in the church are not allowed to make the noise that disturb the neighborhood, whether it's a house party, whether it's your home, whether it's the spinning of the cars, all that kind of noise is not allowed. GBV&F hotspots. If we all play our parts, the country will certainly combat the coronavirus pandemic. Sadly, the same cannot be said for the second pandemic that is a crisis level in the country. Gender-based violence is a societal evil that must be contained at all costs. Following the Honorable President Cyril Ramaphosa's pronouncement around GBV&F still rife under lockdown, the work of the Interministerial Committee on the GBV continues. As a member of this IMC, I have addressed this topic several times, highlighting the work we are doing as the steps to combat this scourge. I have also spoken at length of measures we as the police are putting in place to professionalize the service rendered to the victims of GBVF. In our effort to drill down the community and district level in our response to GBVF, government has pinned down 30 GBVF hotspots. The list was compiled based on 9 key variables, including number of cases reported to the SAPS during the 2019-2020 financial year. These cases include rape, human trafficking for sexual offences, kidnapping for sexual offences, domestic-related and human trafficking. Figures of the reported domestic violence-related cases on murder, rape, attempted murder, and assault GBH were also considered when compiling this list. The hotspots list also includes 8 other variables such as calls related to domestic violence and gender-based violence received. Data was also included from victim support services such as Tutuzela centers, health facilities, and other data from other departments that paint a picture of the GBVF in particular area. The Interministerial Committee on the GBVF will elaborate further on these hotspots compiled by various departments. For the purpose of today's briefing, I would like to expand on the intervention that SAPS will undertake in these identified areas. As part of the SAPS Integrated Sexual Offence and GBF Action Plan, there are proactive measures with short, medium, and long-term timeframes. GBF remains a priority crime for SAPS. As a prevention measure, the SAPS will also continue to have a sustained public awareness and community-based campaigns as the identified areas of GBF. Police stations in those identified areas are expected to have a permanent desk dedicated to GBF. This will go a long way in ensuring victims of gender crimes are responded to by trained officers in a professional way. The dedicated desk will reduce the risk of ill treatment at the hands of officers, as we have seen in some instances. These permanent desks should not be limited to the hotspots areas only, but should be a norm at all stations. This matter makes one hot. We are also forging ahead with our plan of ensuring that victim-friendly rooms meet all requirements and are available at all police stations. Police stations should have access to DNA collection kits at all times in the identified areas and beyond. A medium to a long term is addressing the GBVH case backlog as well as relooking at cold cases. The capacitating of the FCS specialized units that handles all GBVF and femicide cases is ongoing, and so is the training of members. While we know police alone will not rid the country of this evil, we as the SAPS will continue to strengthen our response to the GBVF. The approach will promote accountability and ensure that all victims and survivors of the GBVF have access to justice. In closing, ladies and gentlemen, of course, we are aware that the identification of these hotspots does not mean that GBVF is limited only in these areas. This is why provinces are strongly encouraged to look at their own localized hotspots and ensure that victim-centered services deliver in all corners of the countries. We have a list here of those top 30 that are regarded as a hotspots, and there are 30, so I would not go through reading them. So this statement will end there, and I'm sure the communication people give these stations if they are needed by the people of the media. Having said so, it's the second time I repeat it, that we have tried to make the police service very much accessible to the people of the Republic of South Africa. We have printed this police directory that every number of a station commander is here, every district and cluster commander in the country is here, the number of every deputy commissioner is here, every divisional commissioner is here, the number of the commissioner of the South African police is here, the number of the minister of the police is here, the number of the deputy minister of the police is here. Maybe your colleagues in the media would like to get this, so that you can phone any station. Is their numbers and their mobile is not just the station numbers, so that people of South Africa, they have an access to every police in the Republic of South Africa. Thank you.